Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 284 of my modded Factorio playthrough. In this episode, we are going to finish up with the setup that makes our lithium intermediate components. Enjoy! And since these things are so small, we might be able to just kind of jam them in this little spot right here. Although, the belts would need to be on this side, so maybe not. So we need our liquefier. We'll just build it wherever here. Figure out what we want to do. It looks like it's basically 1 to 1 to 1 for everything, so where we would have something right here, our first use of the blue metal catalyst with yellow inserters both directions, and a yellow inserter here with belt coming from somewhere. And then that would be feeding into the chemical plant here, making the sodium perchlorate. Needs to have the filtered water coming in from somewhere. Then we need another one, making the sodium chlorate. And look at these throughputs. Let's flip these around. Guess I'll just kind of put these here to signify that something goes there. So, speeds and speeds. Basically going to need to make 30 a second. Not quite, but now that we have blue stack inserters here, they move much faster, so we could basically max out a red belt with only 3 of them. But because of stacking on one side isn't going to be even, because we only have 3 inserters, let's do something kind of funny. In this case, actually just having a sorting warehouse here might actually make this a little cleaner. It's kind of funny. But because we basically need almost a full belt out of this, it might be kind of easier just to do something like that. And then to feed it, we're going to need the same number of inserters, but now since it's direct insertion, it's not nearly the same issue. Is cobalt here yet? Nope. Is cobalt coming here? Yes. It's just going to be a while. Okay, and then this needs the solution, which needs the sodium hydroxide. But now we're starting to get things to connect, because those 2 waters will connect, and then that hydrogen chloride can just go to where it needs to go, and we can dump the rest of it. And then we need another 3 inserters. Let's do some distance changing. That can be the sodium hydroxide coming in. Got the distance changing wrong on this. We want that. Okay, so fresh water, sodium hydroxide makes the solution, which comes in here. And oh, it looks like it consumes hydrogen chloride gas. Well, that makes me feel a little better, so we don't have to worry about dumping it. And the sodium hydroxide goes in, making the sodium chlorate, which all gets dumped into this guy. It needs the blue metal catalyst and purified water. Blue metal catalyst come from over there. It dumps its output in there, which goes down through that. So we'll try to line it up again. Give it a couple more spaces. We do need to get the purified water down here, which we can send along here. Although it's kind of in the way, but we can do this here. And get that in there. Ah, these things fill up to the maximum, so it makes dumping the stuff a little harder. Well, let's just make a rule for it. Lithium salt, so it has somewhere to go. Is cobalt here yet? Okay, finally. Alright, well, those aren't actually going anywhere yet. Because actually this is the output that needs to be sent on a train. So it really doesn't need to go down here, it actually should go up. Because it needs to go up to those train stations. Probably really should have trains over here somewhere, but there really aren't any logistics for it right now. So I kind of want to use the existing station right here. Even though it's kind of annoying. Actually, we can kind of combine things like that. So that will be one of our outputs. So that should be enough to test it here. It's weird seeing these chemical plants, but no gases or anything. Same with the electrolyzers. But it's going very slowly. Making one of the outputs that we need. But we only need about 17 or so. Okay. Well, we gotta wait for that to get all connected. But we can send the lithium salt in here. And this creates hydrogen as an output. Where is the nearest hydrogen anyway? Probably used to be down here. But then I think it got moved to clean things up a bit. I guess it makes sense it's going right there because that's the normal dump for it. So let's reconnect it. Hey, it looks like it cleared through all of that oil. Nice. So this can just kind of just jump over everything because why not? It has the reach. Use this slot right here. There we go, but we don't want it to stay here. So we probably want to forcefully pump it out. Okay. Hey, all of this is connected now. Okay, well we need to get sodium hydroxide in here, and it's going to be quite a lot, as well as the resources for those catalysts. But actually, they'll just come from a drone. Probably should get that request started. This is kind of a funny way of doing it, but if we do this, we can have two outputs doing there. That's not very space efficient, but I suppose it works. So we need titanium ore and cobalt ore. One drone for each. And we need sodium hydroxide. Probably should just jump over everything here. It's being stored here, so it's kind of weird. But it might make more sense to come all the way up here so we can grab it from here. And since we're using so much of it now, we might want to have a second belt. I guess we can use blues, but oh well. Reds also work. So just keep hopping over everything. Okay, that'll get us the sodium hydroxide eventually. We also need to get this output here, which is kind of messed up a little bit here. Oh well. Despite my best intentions, the factory is becoming more and more spaghettified. It's kind of funny how that seems to be the end result of a factory, the bigger it gets. Alright, we do need these two ores. They're being produced here. Well, air quotes being produced. We got nothing. That's not good. I think these two are the ones that are what we need. Well, let's do a priority to the left to a supply depot. For titanium is less than 1,000. And we'll grab one from the cobalt too. Same thing. Well, we're not going to be producing much without the cobalt. I don't know if we can kind of force something to go here. Basically, a lead request would work, like for solder. What are we looking like here? Oh, I feel like it's so close. What about down here? Yeah, they're close. But not quite. Well, let's try something here. It's kind of risky, but we will unhook that. So cobalt will flow until it gets to here. And we'll unhook it here as well, so it doesn't go anywhere. And let's see if I forcefully tell it that zinc is fine. What turns on? So we don't want a bunch of stuff. Okay, so gold is turning on. We don't want that. Yeah, it does that. So let's do nickel instead. So flip the switch. So we are still getting some flow there too, so that's not ideal. Well, actually, one other thing we can do is just open these up. I guess we can both do nickel and zinc. It is a buffer. I normally don't like to use them, but I want to try to create some resources here. Gold, I don't really care about. But we need enough cobalt to actually start this process. And actually with gold, we can just kind of block it off. So it hopefully fills up quickly and shuts off, because we want the cobalt. And the titanium, I guess we can cut its flow off. Because it is waiting on copper. I just want enough so we can start making some batteries. Hopefully I remember all of these warehouses that got flipped, but it doesn't really matter. The main disadvantage of having buffers that are bigger than they need to be, it's just that the factory takes a lot longer to respond to changes. But that is something that we can do to keep the resources flowing here. And actually, we can just kind of disconnect it right here. So much junk ore right now. Okay, so that is making some resources. Have the drones left? It looks like they have, and actually some already made it. Nice. And the sodium hydroxide made it too. We needed some filter frames. Let's get some fresh ones here. Oh, that's probably enough. Don't really need that many. And there they go. So, will we make some stuff here? Kind of. Sodium hydroxide goes in. That fills up. Now it just needs the hydrogen chloride gas, which is yet one more thing to send. Fortunately, it would have been nicer if this setup was much closer to where I originally wanted to do it, because all these things were already nearby. It would have been a lot easier to put the stuff here. So, I don't know. It would have fit. It would have fit. It's kind of too late now. Things would have had to been moved. But this also was going to expand over here, so... it's kind of, both solutions were a little bad. Alright, well that's a one-way valve, so we can't really use that. But hydrogen chloride is being sent up here. Yeah, so we can just send it down. Looks like we lost another pump. And looks like we lost some over here too. Is power about to run out? I don't understand what's going on here. It does seem like when it places it nearby, it somehow destroys it. Not just directly on the tile. But they're back again. Okay, hydrogen chloride gas is coming down. Looks like both of our resources made it. So we can probably disable the shenanigans that we set up in order to make this all work. Yep, looks good again, so re-hook up the belts and disable the expanded warehouses, which was zinc, which is rapidly filling up, and nickel, and copper, which is now full. Okay, let's hook up the gas, which is making our sodium chlorate, and all that is waiting on is the catalysts, which are right here and ready to get loaded up. This actually does go through quite a few of these, though. I think we're going to need blue inserters there. Oops, but we need to have filter inserters. That's for the carriers. And that's for the sodium perchlorates, which when we put it in here, this will create its two outputs, one of which is salt, and the other is what we need. Both outputs are quite high, so we're going to send yet two more belts. One of them is actually going to be a blue belt, which is the output, and I guess we need to have filter inserters on here, which is a little annoying, because there's so many of them. The second side will probably be easier than the first one here. Okay. So now we just place all of these. And then the second side, which is a little easier now, because we can just copy it over. So we'll grab the entire thing. And get it copied. So the thing we want is getting merged right here. And the second thing, which technically can be a yellow belt, but whatever, will go through here. Are all the inserters in there yet? Kind of hard to tell. Let's just assume the answer is yes. So we need to get our resources in here. And there it goes. Electrolyzing away. Oops, not quite going the right way there. So I think that's finally everything we're going to need, because we need our lithium cobalt oxide, which is right there. We need the lithium perchlorate, which is right there, and then this salt is just a byproduct that needs to be sent up there. It's kind of funny that we have 5 solid belts of products which are just all going to this one area, but it is what it is. I think this is the better solution than putting it right here and getting in the way of this. And I guess, well, we could have cleared out this area right here. It would have fit. The belts would have been a lot shorter. But it's kind of too late. Most of these belts are already placed. But at the same time, it wouldn't be that much work to move it. So I think I will. Luckily for you, it'll happen in an instant. So I'll be back in a second. Alright, got this moved. Actually, it didn't take too long. Not that I was watching the clock, but basically I moved it from down here to in here, laid some landfill and concrete still getting placed. This is so logistically simpler, where all of the stuff we need is right here, so none of those belts and pipes going all the way down here is really kind of unwise to put it down here, because all of what we need is right here at chlorine processing, so no reason to do all of that. Still kind of waiting on some of the ores to get here. But otherwise, everything is back in, and there's some storage chests with a couple thousand resources in places because we had to move a bunch of stuff, so it's going to take a little while for that to get cleared out. But it will. And then we have our two outputs. And both of those need to go to a train, which is right here. And do we want to do two separate trains for this? Or one train? I feel like since both of them are getting used at the same time, and they're both going to the same place, that we potentially could just use one train for everything. Let's double check. The cobalt oxide only goes into batteries, and the perchlorate only goes into batteries, so there's really no reason to have anything else here. Now, it's been a long time since we've done a loading station here. It's kind of on the wrong side, but I guess it doesn't really matter. See, there seems to be 4 spaces in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, then like right there. We haven't really started producing cobalt. That's just some of that leftover buffer that we opened up. So don't get too excited there. Well, this station's going to be a little different. For one, we'll have faster inserters. Although the depot here is set up for LTN requests. So we'll want to do the same thing here. I'm not sure exactly where the train would be pulled from. There should be a parking spot over here. So we probably need to make one. Otherwise, it's probably going to come from all the way down there. Not that it really matters, but it would be better. So do we need any more inserters in this? Probably not, because their speed is 20 a second when they're going from chest to chest. So that's probably fine. Hey, that made it. So we can get that all connected. Well, for an LTN request though, that's going to have 2 different items, which might be kind of weird. I guess it technically works, but might just want to make a non-LTN station in here. I mean, there's huge amounts of space to handle that. So let's call this Lithium load. Are those the same resource? It's kind of hard to tell. Sodium perchlorate. Lithium perchlorate. Well, only one way to check by picking them up. That's lithium perchlorate. And that's also lithium perchlorate. Just kind of looks different depending on the angle you look at it. So I guess we need to go get a train, which would be over here. And that's a lot of locomotives. Just the one and 4 cars. And the track made it. And fuel is over here. There we go. Well, let's hook all this up. Oh yeah, those can load quite quickly, and this can be set to 6 stacks now. Just funny how on the belt it looks so white when it's going this direction, and then it looks so red when it's going this direction. You can kind of see the moment it shifts right here. But I guess it's the same thing, because there's only one resource in each of those. So now all this stuff is going to run. There's going to be a bit of a buffer, and it looks like this didn't run for some reason. Purified water. I guess that makes sense because we have been supplying everything with these chests here. Which is fine. They're actually going through their supply rather quickly, so that's nice to see. And once they have, it should start making water in earnest. And it kind of is right here. So that should cover all of the junk that got moved around due to just picking the setup up and changing its position. It's pounding out a bunch of salt, and then it will make more sodium hydroxide eventually. Kind of filling up on hydrogen though. They are using these hydrogen burners rather than being sent all the way back. So that should be fine. It's kind of a roundabout way of doing it, but I think it's fine. Slowly filling up on the purified water. Okay. I think this whole setup is finally finished. It's a well-oiled machine, making all of these lithium products. And of course, still waiting on robots with their never-ending task of covering the entire factory with refined concrete. But they're doing what they can. And it's going to be a while before this train gets filled up. But looking good. So now that that's complete, we probably can remove all of this junk. Make it simpler. Because now we've done all of that, we simply have the last step. A big one, but the last step of turning it into the lithium-ion batteries. But that's going to have to wait until the next episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later.